I hope you are ready for another Capsule Wardrobe video. I have a few Dollar Tree items included, but my goal right now in life is to declutter my fabric stash. My first choice was this beautiful aqua and black fabric, but I didn't have enough to make the long evening wear skirt. The second choice was the tropical fabric. So this is where I got my inspiration to do a beach theme, and even better, to pretend that the doll is going on a cruise. After I settled on the palette fabric, I looked in my closet where I store my remnants and found several items to make mix and match outfits. I even pulled out some costume jewelry that several of my family members have given me. I laid out all the various fabrics and began to plan the wardrobe. You can use the patterns as they are and pin them, or you can transfer them to freezer paper as shown in this video. My patterns are listed in my Etsy store. You get a bundle as shown here. You will notice that I use both methods of cutting out the patterns. Today I'm using a few Dollar Tree items. I will have some suggestions at the end of this video. The first piece of fabric is a kitchen towel from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a long sleeve jacket. The next piece of fabric is an upcycled shirt with maps and sailboats. Very cruise appropriate. I used one of my tops. The top was striped and the bottom was the solid white, and I just reversed it for the doll outfit. This one is just a remnant. And then I upcycled a pair of jeans from my closet, and I upcycled a pair of pants, black pants. I think this was just a fat quarter from Walmart. This was at one time a bed sheet that I had used for another project. I upcycled just a plain white t-shirt. I'm going to use the maps and sailboat fabric and cut this little sailboat out and make an applique. I have a small remnant from my closet that it's big enough to make a little pair of shorts. And last but not least, I have an upcycled top. It's knit and it'll make a nice sweater. And I'm sure you noticed that all those different fabrics match my palette fabric. I've cautioned you many times to make a practice outfit with your patterns before you use your good stuff. I've got 7 American Girl dolls, and each one is a little bit different, especially the used ones. People restuff them in order to sell them on eBay or whatever. This doll is one of my slimmer ones. So I'm going to fold up a little hem. And in order to get a gathered skirt from this fabric, I'm going to use my doll to measure the fabric. I want kind of a full skirt, so I will probably use most of the width of this fabric to make the full skirt. You are cutting the length and the width. Put the elastic around the doll and cut the amount that you need. If you don't have elastic, you could use the elastic in underwear. I bought this pair from Dollar Tree. Or use a headband, also from Dollar Tree. Somehow, my video showing how I made the casing with elastic disappeared, so I just made you a little illustration on how I made the top and the skirt. I used a video still shot to show another outfit that I made with casing and elastic. I debated on whether to put straps. I believe the elastic is tight enough to hold the top on. My focus in this video will be to show you how I do closures and finishes. I use the selvage as part of the hem. It will not need to be zigzagged or serged. And I serged all the seams for a neat finish. For the A-line dress, I cut the pattern out, leaving the side seams. I angled the shoulders seam, and you see where I have cut away the fabric. You're going to sew right on the line where the pattern is and clip away the excess fabric. Now, I can make little tiny facing pieces for you to cut out, but friends, this method is so much easier. Some of you who use commercial patterns or take sewing classes will probably exclaim, "She's not doing it right." I tend to use common sense rather than formal sewing techniques. And here's the easy method. Just lay out your dress onto the lining fabric. I use a pillowcase. Sew around the neck opening, and the sleeves. And then around the neck and down the back. The next picture just shows that this method has very neat results. I wanted to add just a little detail, so I chose to add a horizontal stripe to the vertical stripe dress. The closure is just a looped piece of elastic cord. I stitched it by hand, and then I used my button setting on the sewing machine to secure the loop to the dress. I had feedback from someone who purchased one of my doll outfits, and they said that this was really easy for little fingers to button and unbutton. For the jeans, I laid the pattern on the seam of the recycled jeans so that the doll jeans would appear to have that same seam. My best advice for finishing up the doll clothes is number 1, press with your iron. Number 2 is clip all the little threads, the loose threads. And number 3 is to serge or zigzag all the seams and the hems. You can use elastic in the waistband if you want. However, the pants will stay up without the elastic. I made 3 pair of shorts. The white ones are kind of a walking shorts length, and the striped ones are the capri length. And the 3rd pair of shorts is shorter. I wanted to make a skirt, so I used my pattern for the circle skirt shown here. If you don't have this pattern, you could just make a waistband and a gathered skirt. Here's a close-up view of the decorative machine stitches that I used just for a design detail. Do you ever buy your own Christmas presents? Well, I bought a wool ironing mat for myself for Christmas. Works really great. The little detail on the dish towel worked in my favor. It added a design feature to my jacket sleeves. I also added a lapel to the neckline of my jacket. Again, you might want to refer to this video for more detailed instructions. The flounce is included in the pattern bundle. If you want lots of gathers, you cut it longer than the 3x6. You might want to even double the size. My favorite method for gathering is shown here. I use pins, but there are many other ways to gather. I've shown you this method of making your own facing. Trace around the outfit's neckline on a folded triangle, cut out the neck opening, sew, and then clip the curves and turn it. I put a nice finish on the top. I serged and or zigzagged the seams and the hem. I put the elastic loop and button. I might even paint that button with my fingernail polish. And I used my pinking shears for a nice finish on the facing. For this top, I'm going to put a binding instead of a facing. I use a strip of t-shirt fabric or knit, something that stretches. And you can start off with a wide piece and then trim the excess later. And I just put it around the outside of the fabric on the neckline. In order to make the white knit top, I recycled a t-shirt. I folded the sleeve part of the pattern a little bit and made a different kind of neckline. And now I'm going to use the sailboat as an applique, and I will do the binding to the neckline. I use the flounce pattern to make the little flutter sleeve. I made the flounce longer so that it would have lots of gathers, and I made it shorter. I cut off most of the sleeve on the pattern top so that the flounce would be closer to the shoulder as compared to the pink top. For the last outfit, I recycled a knit top to make a doll sweater. I folded the fabric, laid the pattern on it, cut out a neckline, and left enough to sew a shoulder seam when I unfold the fabric, and under the arm and down the side. But you can cut the rest of the fabric. Okay. Next, I placed the the pattern piece down again and added about 3.5 inches, but I did not cut a neckline. I just made a straight cut, and that allows the sweater to drape in the front. Here is a recap of the variations. First, you have this shirt that is plain with no frills, and then you have the plain t-shirt. The next shirt has the flounces, and here's the top with the flutter sleeves. The buffalo plaid jacket has long sleeves. This is all the same pattern from the bundle. The core piece is just a rectangle and strapless. The peplum top has very short sleeves. The coral sweater has the drape front. And the little striped shirt, I added cuffs just to make the sleeves a little bit longer. And then the A-line dress is sleeveless. So that's how you can vary this basic pattern. Another way to vary the pattern is to change the neckline. The first has a low scoop neck. For the jacket, cut straight across and make lapels. The knit top has a boat neck. I put a little peplum on the top. And to vary the A-line dress, I just added a border. And all I did to the pants pattern this time was to vary the lengths. Here's a few suggestions for those of you who like to use Dollar Tree items. My store had a ton of scarves that could be made into the core dress, and I will definitely use this beautiful scarf in the near future. And you know how I like to find pretty cloth placemats to make tops and pants. Sometimes you can find the fat quarters at the Dollar Tree. My method is to start with colors that go together, and my style is to use lots of patterns for mix and match. I promised you a little fashion show, but this video is already too long, so What I will do instead is to make a part 2. So be alert for upcoming video.